we go. At number 3, Joe Burrow.
Oh.
All right, now, Joe, most people, including, I think, 3 of the 4 on this desk, think you're great. Kevin Wilds.
I think he's.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't think he's great.
Don't try to walk it back.
All right, you don't think he's great.
All right.
All right, but if we're being honest, you have kind of been living off of the fact that 3 years ago, you beat Patrick Mahomes and got to the Super Bowl. But as Janet Jackson might say, what have you done for me lately?
Love it.
Is that that's not too dated?
No, that's great.
Thank you. All right, not much. It's a resounding nothing much, Joe. Last year, I know you were hurt. You played 10 games. You went 5-5. This year, you're 1-3 in the regular season, so 6-8 in your last 14 starts. And if you don't win this game against Baltimore, I mean, you still got a shot for the playoffs, but it's going to start looking bleak in the Queen City. That's his nickname for Cincinnati, one of my hometowns. All right, and if you lose to Lamar, who's owned you, you will then be 1-5 against Lamar and 1-4 this season for your team. So, Joe, you have to go out and deliver. You got your 2 great receivers. Both of them are healthy. You know going in what you have to do because your defense is not going to stop Baltimore. So go ahead. If you're one of the top 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks in this league, you have to go ahead and get it done. I do believe in you. I just don't believe you're going to beat the Ravens. All right, at number 2, Dak. Dak. I think Dak, it seems like he's been under the radar. Is it just me, or is it, especially for a Cowboys quarterback, it feels like he's kind of been under the radar. He hasn't been bad. He's been solid, 6 touchdowns, I think 2 picks. You've been solid. You've been so-so. But that's not what we expect from a guy who became the NFL's first $60 million man, the highest paid player in the history of the sport. When you get paid that much, you shouldn't just be so-so. You shouldn't be fair. You should be able to carry a squad. All right? I think Patrick Mahomes can carry a squad. I think Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen can carry squads. Can you, Dak, carry a squad? And just against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who aren't going to score but 19 points, maybe. All right? So you have to go out there and prove this week that you can carry the Cowboys, that you're worth the money that they just spent on you. I could argue they gave you a break because you haven't proved you can win in the playoffs. You haven't proven you can carry a squad, but they still made you the highest paid guy. So that's the challenge this weekend. Go out there with your two of your 3 best defenders missing. Go out there against one of the league's best defenses and beat them because you carried the Cowboys with your arm. I do believe in you to some degree, Dak. Oh, I do.
Some degree. Not a lot of enthusiasm.
All right. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Oh? You're going to London and facing the Minnesota Vikings, who are really upstart Minnesota Vikings. To be honest, Aaron, and I picked you guys to win the AFC East, but the evidence is mounting, dare I say, that you're washed.
What?
The evidence is mounting. I mean, I keep it real. All right, even if I picked them to win the division, 25 games, I'm sure Kevin Wilds knows, 25 straight games without 300 yards passing.
Wow.
That's almost 3 calendar years. That's almost 3 calendar years. And you couldn't lead Green Bay to the playoffs in your last season. Then Jordan Love comes in, and they look like an entirely different team last year. And last week, you couldn't beat a rookie quarterback that your defense held to 60 yards passing and 10 points. All right, so look, this is not a crime for a guy that's 40, but when the guy that's 40 or almost 40 at the time comes in talking about a Super Bowl, talking about, that trophy looks lonely, skipping mini camp and all that stuff, then you kind of put, a target on your back. You have a whole city expecting you to do great things for the New York Jets. So if you fall, you lost last week, a game you shouldn't have lost. If you lose to Minnesota with the former Jet Sam Darnold at quarterback, oh my. I just think the fans of New York and the media are going to stop treating you with the kid gloves.
Uh-oh, back page.
The honeymoon could be over. And then you're going to have to really start going out there and winning games. So, Aaron, I do believe in you. It's going to be a tough chore this weekend, but I believe you can get it done and show people that you are not washed. Here it is.
Excellent Bud list, as
I mean,
always.
every week I have the challenges of working through those lists, and then I get to your list, and it's like a total reset for my week. So thank you for another outstanding Bud list. But I am going to add one to this and piggyback a little bit on your Jets take with the guy who took over for him, and Jordan Love. And here's something that I talk about all the time. When a guy gets a new contract, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that new contract. And oftentimes they want to justify the money and do things differently than what got them to where they were. And we saw that to some degree with Jalen Hurts last year. So you got to be able to work through the money. And with Jordan, he hit it just right. They were wallowing through the first part of the season, and then he got red hot in terms of interceptions, or touchdowns to interceptions, the success they had in the playoffs. And so then he got paid. And then since he's gotten paid, and he got I think it was $220 million. Since he's gotten paid, it hasn't been very good. So let's take a look at his final 10 games, okay, the previous 10 games, including the playoffs, where he's 7-3, 69% completion, 23-3 TD to interception, 112 quarterback rating, and this is where he is this season. It's so dramatically different in every single category, and he's got to justify the money that he had, not by being somebody different, but just being that guy that he was towards the end of the season. No organization wants your quarterback rating to be only 4 points higher than the money they gave you just this season in $79 million.
Fair. That's fair.
Can I jump in for a second? Coach, what does your bar say there? You came up with that?
I had to look up famous songs with love in the title. And so I want to know.
I like that, Coach.
By
That's
Foreigner.
great. That's better than what have you done for me lately. That's great.
I want to know what love is.
I thought about Tainted Love.
That's too far.
Tainted Love.
That's too far.
That's great, though. That's great.
Are you?
And it's true.
But any concern that you're high on the Packers?
Look, obviously, I like the fact that they could win 2 games with essentially their defense and run game when Malik Willis was quarterbacking. He has looked up and down, Jordan, not as good as you expected. But I'm encouraged by what he did in the second half against Minnesota. I think he was rusty. He was working his way back from injury. So I think he'll be fine. But, yeah, he's got to go out there and get done. There have been a recent stretch of guys that got paid. Wentz, now Jalen Hurts, Trevor, who haven't, really lived up to the contract.
It's hard. That pressure is hard for those guys.
All right, so.
Oh, no.
Please don't say no. That's a little rude.
You worried?
That was a little.
You worried you might be? It's a media guy.
Since you guys mentioned that, Hubs brought up to me that a few of the YouTube commenters on last week's Bud List video had the same question, which is, why doesn't Nick put an athlete or a coach on the Bud List? Why does he constantly put someone in the media on the Bud List? And to those people and anyone else asking, I would say, as I thought everyone knew, because I am the sports media ombudsman. I have a responsibility. And like any good ombudsman, sometimes we must look inwards.
Ombudsman list.
Yeah. How about that? Not just to this show or this network, but to ourselves. So I am under duress. And I am under duress thanks to my own hometown. Because there's a list of cities that, dare I say, I'm not that popular in. And it's not because of anything I've done.
Come on.
It's because of what the Chiefs have done.
Oh.
Do you think I'm welcome in upstate New York? I'm not. Even though I went to college in Syracuse. But no, Western New York, Buffalo, they don't like me. Philadelphia, they don't like me at all. Been to basketball games there. A little shaky. And I like the Sixers.
Can't really blame
Northern California, where my daughter goes to college. Brou has started this scurrilous rumor that I don't like Brock Purdy, and the Chiefs beat Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl. And so it's what I thought too, exactly. Cousin Pee Wee and my grandmother are the Kings. Doesn't matter. Stop. I got to fly into SFO. They don't like me there either. Now there's a new city, one of my favorite cities in the country, Baltimore. Because what happens in Baltimore in 2024? You have a great season, and then a team from Kansas City ends it. Whether you're the Ravens or the Orioles. But now, Brou, I'm afraid. Because I'm afraid that it's coming to my doorstep. Because who does Bobby Baseball and the Kansas City Royals play in the ALDS? The New York Yankees. I'll be there at Yankee Stadium wearing my Bobby baseball jersey, even though grown men typically shouldn't wear jerseys, but this thing, it's just so beautiful. He's the best player in the league. He probably should have won. I don't know how I'm doing this wrong, but doesn't matter. He probably should have won AL MVP, but Aaron Judge's going to win it.
He'll be there.
And so I'm in a very, very weird spot because it's not only am I running out of cities where I'm welcome, but I got to say, my colleagues, some of the execs, I think that if the Royals knock the Yankees out of the playoffs, they might blame me.
Yeah.
They're not going to like that. I don't know that it's good for the sport or good for baseball. It's good for your buddy Nick Wright. Have another parade in Kansas City. Maybe we'll attend. But I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling that Kansas City, ever since it's become America's sports mecca, Titletown, USA, that it is hurting me because people think I'm smug or spoiled or whatever it is. I'm just born there.
Yeah.
It's nothing I can do about it.
That's fair, I think.
It's nothing I can do.
And you're very understated.
Exactly, and humble about
winning everything.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That would, I tell you, if the Royals won it, it would be title town.
In the last
right
decade,
now.
Kansas City's 2 sports teams have won 4 championships. New York's 8 have 0. It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Tough spot.
Way to make yourself more popular.
That's very good.
I'm going to put the Dolphins on the Bud list.
Oh.
Kind of a good news, bad news situation for the Dolphins front office. Any criticism about paying Tua, turns out you made the right decision because that Dolphins offense does not work without him at all. Since he's been down, the Dolphins are last in everything that they were supposed to be first in. They had the best offense in the year, Tua did last year, and now without Tua, the team is horrible. Now you're headed to New England, and you're underdogs. Tua, 6-0 against Belichick, but he's not going to be there, and neither is Bill Belichick. So here's my issue on why the Dolphins are under duress. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the AFC East last year, but the star quarterback went down, and rather than getting a very good backup quarterback or having a plan, they just let the season kind of peter away. Since Tua's been down, they're last in everything. That seems to be the Dolphins' plan, even though Tyler Huntley is starting. What we've seen, Anthony Richardson went down, Joe Flacco won a game. Jordan Love went down, Malik Willis won a game. 1-2. J.J. McCarthy went down, Sam Darnold can't lose. Russ got hurt before the season. Pittsburgh got 2 QB1s. Levis goes down during your game, and we see Mason Rudolph win. Bryce got benched. Dalton One's a little bit different, but they did have 2 good quarterbacks. So now you're headed to New England to play the only team where the better quarterback's actually on the bench. So you have to win this game. And I'm kind of rooting for Tyler Huntley because he carries the how'd you make the Pro Bowl torch that Mac Jones lit.
That was well
Dolphins are in a weird spot.
Well stated, because you're right. All these other teams have been able to win. And I tell you what, Tua's stock has risen in his absence. Yeah. I still don't think he's a great quarterback, but
he went from first to last.
No, it does show you that no matter how great the system is, no matter how great the players are around you, you still have to be
So if a guy
good.
had stepped in for Tua and the team hadn't missed a beat and did all the same stuff,
don't answer. Go to break.
I'm just leaving that alone. I don't trust Nick.
It's
a trick.
It's a
air yards. If the air yards were double,
it's a trick coming. There's a trick. I know.
Oh, okay. And you got to bring back C.J. Beathard.
People have been dying for Cowboy Brou to return.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.